Hi, I'm Z Garcia, and you're watching The Dice Tower.
Hi, I'm Eric Summerer, and here's what's coming from The Dice Tower this week.
Hey folks, welcome to the news for October 21st, 2013. Well, in the board game world, this is one of the two biggest weeks of the year, and that's because this is the week of Essen Spiel, the Spiel Fair at Essen, Germany. That is what everyone's going to be talking about this week. Last week I did a top 10 games I'm looking forward to from Essen, although there's about 50 to 100 that I probably have some interest in. Over the next months or so, you'll see reviews of as many of those as I can get my hands on and tell you whether they're good or not. And this week we'll start hearing some of the rumblings of the good games, and you'll get a clear picture over the next several weeks as people get a chance to play some of the longer ones. At the fair itself, initially you'll see that some of the smaller, shorter games will get very high buzz initially because people can play them there and play them quickly. It takes sometimes longer for the bigger games to catch up. Most of this stuff can be found at BoardGameGeek.com. At BoardGameGeek.com, which is a great website to find out about board games, they do live feeds and they have a whole schedule set up. Especially if you're over here in America, you can stay up in the middle of the night and watch them interview and lots of different designers that show off their games. So, meanwhile, what's going on here at the Dice Tower? Well, there is some news this week. Let's get to it. Well, in the news this week, here's some things that are going on. First of all, some projects on Kickstarter. The Tide of Iron reboot, basically. It's not really a reboot, but a new company, 1A, has it. They got it from Fantasy Flight Games. And I don't know what happened. The first Kickstarter didn't work out well, but they kind of restarted it and rejiggered some things and have it set up. So you can find that out, including a brand new expansion for the game, Stalingrad. If you've not played it before, it's a fun game with really great miniatures, a tactical World War II game. Get Lucky is also on Kickstarter. This is interesting. It's a card game version of the Kill Dr. Lucky game, which has been out for over a decade in a very small black and white version, and then in a much nicer version from Titanic, and now you have a card game version on Kickstarter. Also, this one, I don't know if it's a good game or not, but seems interesting. It's called Westerly. This, the designers told me, is kind of a game based on the old video game Oregon Trail. So now you too can play a game where, you know, you get disease and die before the game's over. I don't know, but it looks interesting enough. CGE has put up some of the rules for their games, including Tashkalar, so you can find out more about that game, read the rules, and see what that game's going to be like. Catalyst has announced that they have the license for Cartoon Hangover. They're going to be making some collectible card games on this. Based on it's a cooperative card game. The system is called the Level Up, and they'll be doing it on the cartoon series Bravest Warrior and Bee and Puppy Cat. I do not know these cartoon series at all. I don't know if they're any good or not, but we'll have to wait and see what these are like. Gale Force 9, Firefly, I'm sure, is doing exceedingly well for them. In fact, I'll be reviewing it this week. But they announced a new expansion for it coming out very soon called Breaking Atmo. Now, this is a small expansion, adds 25 more mission cards and 25 more item cards. Total of 50 cards, but they're selling it for $12. So, seems like if you like Firefly, a way to infuse some more stuff into the game. Privateer also announced an expansion for their War Machine High Command. 84 cards, 21 cards for each faction, several cards for each deck, but also 4 new warlords for each deck to give you, I guess, some more variety to pick from. So that sounds interesting. And for people who like that game, which is kind of a mix of a deck builder and kind of an area control style game, I think the extra cards and the more variety is going to be something that people look forward to. In our news for the week, I guess the news of the week is Essen, but we've talked a lot about that. The Taggy award nominations are up. Taggy is a toy and game awards from the Chicago Toy Fair, and which is being held next month. And they have an award that's given out each year to game and toy designers. Now, there's I have kind of mixed feelings about these awards because they generally err on the side of the mass market. They miss some design. I'm not sure I'm not sure how they get the people that they get, and why they picked them any particular year. But it still is a pretty big award, and I'm always interested to look at it. Even though I'm a gaming person, I like to look at the toy awards that they have. But they have categories, and you can go to their website and vote on these categories right now if you wanted to. For the Game Designer Award for board games, they have Nicholas and Rebecca Blue. They designed a bunch of games. I don't know much about them, Acuity and Crosswise, but they also have Matt Leacock, who designed Pandemic and Forbidden Island, and then this year, Forbidden Desert. Tom Quinn, the designer of the party game that's been out for quite a while called Game of Things. And then Mark Cudi, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, who designed several games including Backwards, and this one, a holograph FX style game. So, who's going to win? I mean, in my opinion, Matt Leacock is. I'm not sure why the guy designed Things is out. It's confusing to me how they pick these people, but it's interestingly enough as it is. For Rising Star, they picked people who were like coming into the market or what have you, and one of them they picked was Luke Hooper. Now, Luke Hooper is one of the designers of Ket, the laser game that you shot lasers around, and he just did a game that was very similar to that, like a puzzle-style game for Think Fun with lasers. Anything with lasers, I think, is cool. And then a Young Inventors category, where they give it to kids, basically, or teenagers who design. There was 2 board games. One was Ishmael King, who did King of 20, and then Nick Metzler, who did Squashed, which is like a 3-dimensional abstract strategy game. Actually looks really interesting. I certainly like to give that one a try. I don't know. You can check out the website to see if this is interesting to you or not, but at least you can go in there and vote. You know, I'm not trying to flood them with votes for any one particular person, but it is interesting to watch these awards, and you know, whatever I think of these awards or not, this is something that brings game and recognition into a very big audience, and so it's certainly something to keep an eye on. In the Dice Tower Network this week, which of course you can find all our podcasts at dicetowernetwork.com. And if you go to Dice Tower itself, you can find an RSS feed there to subscribe to the different podcasts. And don't forget, you can always find DicetowerAudio.com, where you can find an audio version of this show and other Dice Tower shows that we do throughout the week. Ludology number 67. Jeff interviews Frank Merrick, who uses games to get kids excited about science and technology. Plaid Hat number 110, they talk about games that were game changers. What games, you know, just changed everything. I can tell you 5 of them. That's a good top 10 list that I'll do sometime in the future. Not Just Another Gaming Podcast number 37 gives their opinions on Kickstarter, and they also talk about Werewolf Inquisition and more. Secret Cabal number 52 is on the air, and they give an in-depth review of Spirium from William Attia. D6 Generation number 134, they give a detailed review, I don't know if they do any other kind, of Level 7 Omega Protocol. And the Long View takes a look at Hammer of the Scots, a block war game considered by some to be the best block war game. Exploring Games number 16, they take a look at Suburbia. Board Game University, which will be coming out this Thursday, I'll be interviewing Jordan Wiseman, the inventor of the Mech Warrior universe and the Shadowrun universe and the Mage Knight universe. Very interesting. Blue Peg, Pink Peg, number 8. They talk about Divinaire, Escape, and theme in games. And Showdown, Dice Tower Showdown, will be coming up on Friday this week. You'll be able to hear people argue for Arkham Horror or Betrayal at House on the Hill, which is just in time for this month with Halloween. And is Magic the Gathering better or Android Netrunner? Some strong opinions in this one, so you'll want to take a listen to that. With the Dice Tower, we have our own podcast coming up on Tuesday, and we'll be talking about our top 10 3-player games. You have 3 people, what games to pull out? We'll tell you what to do in that one. The question of the week this week comes from Larry. And Larry is just getting into board games. I mean, he's played board games his whole life and just discovered this new wonderful world of all these cool board games. Then he's enjoying games like Settlers of Catan and Ticket to Ride. And he says the problem is he's found a game group, and the game group, they find Ticket to Ride and the Settlers of Catan, they're kind of past those games. They want to play the new, heavier stuff, the heavier Euro games. And how does he get them to play these games that he'd like to try out, you know, since they've kind of moved past those without begging? Well, you know, if all they want to play is heavier games, and you're not interested in that, then you're really going to be looking for another group. There really is a lot of people out there who are anxious and eager to play games like Settlers of Catan and Ticket to Ride. In fact, there's more people who like these lighter introductory games than people who like the heavier games. So start being an evangelist yourself. Bring more people to the game club who will play the games that you like. Or look for another group in your area that does the same thing. And if that doesn't work, then find some newer, lighter games, bring them into the ground. Hey, look at this new game, and they'll be all over it. And then, of course, you've tricked them into playing a lighter game. I really don't know what to do, but I do think this is kind of a wake-up call for some of us who do tend to play. I mean, I like to play all sorts of games, and sometimes we forget just how great these games were that got us in a hobby, and some people are just discovering them. They're super fun, and we should play those games with those folks once in a while at least. So that's not a great answer, I'm sure, but perhaps in the comments, folks can give some other good ideas. What to do when people in your gaming group want to play heavier games and you're kind of still wanting to play the introductory games. Even though I would say you can play Ticket to Ride pretty seriously, but you know what I mean. Lots of games to be reviewed this week. We have a new reviewer, if you've seen, who's going to start going through the Lord of the Rings collectible card game, or living card game, not collectible, living card game, and talking about strategies and tips on how that works. I'll be reviewing some games. One of the ones I'm excited to review for you this week is Going, Going, Gone from Scott Nicholson. I'll also be taking a look at Titans Tactics, a 2-player tactical card game. Asgard's Chosen. I meant to get to this last week, didn't get to it. We'll try to do it this week. A pile of Japanese games, some pretty cool ones. I mean, just look at these boxes here. And you know what? Both of these are really neat little games. You'll wait. This little game is called One Night Werewolf. It's werewolf for only one night. Yugo. Finally, Firefly the game. And then a bunch of abstract strategy games. So you'll have to wait and see. Those will all be coming out this week, hopefully. Lots of things coming. Let's continue. Each week, I take a look at one shelf of my collection and tell you guys why I've kept the games on this shelf and what I'm going to do, just give you some reasoning for that. Alien Frontiers is a great dice placement game, so that one's an easy one to keep on my shelf. I really like that one. Here I got some extra tracks for Formula Day or Formula D. I like Formula D, so always tracks are good. I just have to fit them on the shelf wherever I can because the box itself is full. Vocabulary is a very fun party game where you roll dice and make funny words. That's extremely fun game. First and Goal is so far the best game about American football that I know of. And then Plucking Pears is a great underrated party game designed by the same guy who did First and Goal, Stephen Glenn. These are both great games and should be in most people's collections. Today I'm going to talk about the shelves that I have over here because a lot of people have asked me about these shelves and they're in the background, and I do like some organization, so I've got these shelves. I bought these shelves at the Container Store, which other than game stores is the single greatest store for a game owner to go to. It's great, but I'm going to apologize about the shaky cam here, but I'm going to want to show you the different things. The main reason I got these was to organize my HeroScape stuff. You can see here, for example, I have all my HeroScape stuff in alphabetical order. See, in this container here, there's Batman, Beast, and Black Canary. Here I have the Blade Grunts. There I have Black Mask, the Black Wormwing, and Blob, etc. And then so these are really nice, these shelves here, because there's small ones and large ones, and when you just the shelves come out very easily, and they're really easy to keep the HeroClix figures in. The HeroClix figures that don't fit go in the top there, and they also make some pretty cool display pieces. Now, if you're wondering, I don't remember Batman, Beast, or Black Canary being in the game. I do have a bunch of custom stuff in here, but who cares, So a good chunk of this, I believe 3 of these exactly, are dedicated to HeroScape. Now this one here is my Wooden Bits I have one drawer full of wooden trains from Mayday Games, one of wooden discs, this one here of meeples, and this one here of cars. The cars and trains come from Mayday Games. The other ones are discarded bits, and so you can see I have red, blue, yellow, green. There's no green. I don't have any green trains, so I have white. No, I do have green trains. I don't have green or white discs in that drawer. That's why. So I have the things kind of sorted per color. You know, there's a couple things that for HeroScape, the different pieces and the extra dice. I keep those in these drawers, and the different, you know, different parts for HeroScape. I have those in these drawers. Here's a pile of zombie dogs. I don't know why. They're just in that drawer. Here I have jewels. Those are useful for game. More HeroScape stuff. There's the card money. Here's a bunch of metal miniatures. Here's a bunch of wooden discs that didn't fit in any specific color drawer. There's markers in case I need them. Down here, I have different crystals of different colors. Here's some bigger discs and bases for HeroScape. Here I have some stones and some clear discs. Here I have some victory point markers and some more stones. Here I have different people of different colors. Over here I have my stuff for Sentinels of the Multiverse. Over here is where I sort out my dice. You can see the different dice through the thing. I really like small dice, so I keep them in different colors. The bigger dice I'm less concerned with, but if I need specific colors for any game, you know, there's some really cool metal dice. And I have them sorted out. Nothing is exact. And then here I have a bunch of metal coins of all different types. I got gold coins, silver coins, copper coins, and platinum coins, and of different denominations. Great for games. I got some blank dice. I got some double-sided dice, odd-shaped dice. Here's a drawer of 100-sided dice. Down here, I got dice of different colors, more colors of dice, and then those discs, those plain discs there, yellow dice, silver and gold dice. Who knows what dice those are. So there's all sorts of dice, and here's some bases for X-Wing and Star Trek miniatures. So that's basically, that's not the best sorting out job in the world, but it does help me out a lot. And anything that doesn't fit in any of those drawers, I have this big drawer of plastic pieces right here. And then below that, oh, these are Mage Wars promos for people who want Mage Wars. And then over here, I have these cool things. I found this at the Container Store too. For my Dice Tower dice, I can pull this out and just grab a couple out of these. And these are really cool looking Dice Tower dice. Anyhow, that's where I store stuff. And that's it for today, folks. Lots of great videos coming out this week. I will be continuing my top 100 games of all time with the Sam and Z. We got 2 more installments of that. Ryan will have 2 more top 100 lists. It's possible that we'll be doing a live recording with Melody of her top 100, so keep an eye on the channel. I'll announce that as soon as I have a date and time for that. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
To find out more about all of our podcasts, check out DicetowerNetwork.com. To see a listing of our videos, head to Dicetower.com. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Cool Stuff Incorporated, where you can buy games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock.